Okay, we got everybody?
It's to you, Mayor. Go ahead.
Okay, hang on a second here. Sorry. So all we're missing is Craig.
With Craig.
Craig's here.
Oh, there you are.
Coughlin will not be.
Oh, yeah, Craig. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. Yes. Or Greg. I'm sorry, I said Craig. I meant Greg. Sorry. Okay. Well, let's get started. I'd like to welcome everybody to the August 4th Planning Commission meeting. We okay there? Can everybody hear everything? Okay. Okay, so let's try again. So welcome everybody to the August 4th Planning Commission meeting. First thing we'll do is say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next we'll go on to approval of the minutes. I'll take motions on those.
Mr. Mayor, this is Mr. Watson. I move for approval of the March 9th Plan Commission meeting minutes. You are muted, Lisa.
Oh, yep. Oh, still can't hear you. There you go.
Did you get my second?
There, now we did. Okay, I got first and a second on the March 9th Planning Commission meetings. Was there any questions or comments from the board? Nope. Brandy, we have a first and a second on the minutes from the March 9th meeting. You want to take a roll call?
Moody,
Aye.
LaRue,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Hinsman,
Aye.
Prendergast,
Aye.
and the mayor.
Yes. Aye. Sorry. Okay. I'll entertain a motion on the next one.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting.
This is Patricia. I second.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, Brandy, we have a first and a second on the July 23rd meeting minutes. Or the extraterrestrial zoning meeting.
Moody,
Aye.
LaRue,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Hinsman,
Aye.
Prendergast,
Aye.
and mayor.
Aye. Okay, so now as we're moving to public comments, if people can come up one at a time, write your name, let everybody know who you are, and try to keep it to 2 minutes or so. That'll be perfect.
John, we're not hearing the comments from council chamber.
No.
Go start over. Hello,
There you go.
I'm Neil Gilbertson, River Falls, Wisconsin. I just came and stopped by about these apartment houses across from the Division Street there. Do we need another one of those in town in River Falls? It seems like they're building all over River Falls, again, South Main and right here. And I heard there's going to be some other ones going up too, those townhouses. I just wonder if we need those anymore in River Falls. And if they do have one, built on Division Street, for the traffic coming out on Division Street, did anybody have a test on that? It'd be awful dangerous with that traffic going there with all the walking people coming down to the DeSanctis Park. And that's a safety item there too. If you do build that apartment house, we get benefits coming down Division Street. Such a beautiful park to your left coming there. It's real nice. Now you're going to come there. All you're going to see is that they're big building, and the only thing that's going to get benefit from it, not the taxpayers don't get nothing from it. It's the guys that's living in that their apartment houses. And I'm really concerned about that. Not only me, but everybody. I've talked to a lot of people about it. It's a bad spot for one of those buildings to be built there in Division Street. Pretty River Falls, how nice it is and everything. Then you're going to have that brick building looking at you coming in town, and the traffic. Before you know it, you have to have street lights, and before you know it, be a school going out there. I'm thinking ahead. I'm kind of thinking ahead on this. It'll be a cluster. It'll be kind of a bad deal to have that big apartment house there, all those apartment houses. That's my opinion, and everybody else, a lot of opinions too that I've been asking around. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you, Mr.
You got any
Gobertson.
questions for me?
Nope.
Okay,
Who's
thank you.
next?
Thanks, sir. Mrs. Myers, you can come on up. Start with your name and address. Yes, you can take that on first.
Suzanne Meyer, 1659 Covey Drive. I've lived in River Falls for more than 60 years. Okay. I live on the corner of Bob White and Division Street, which is going to be like a mecca. And what I would like to know is, are any steps being taken to protect my property from the onslaught of headlights? And if you're talking about traffic lights, are they going to be blinking in my bedroom all night long? It's going to be so busy there. Also, I think I can assume that my property will be devalued because of that. So will my taxes be decreased? Here's my question. Okay, so right now, if you look over there, it is plumb full of wildflowers, butterflies, bees. It's beautiful. And I see the wrecking crews over there digging it all up. I think it's a shame.
Thank you, Mrs. Meyer.
Anybody else like to speak? Come on, you can come on up. Did you want to?
Hi, I'm Joanne Ayers. I live on 1583 Covey Drive, and I've been a River Falls resident for 15 years. We moved here from Pennsylvania, and we looked everywhere for a house. We moved here due to be closer to our grandchildren and our daughter. We bought a twin home on Covey Drive, and the reason we bought it was because of the park across the street, because we came from a dead-end street, and it was a big change to have the traffic there. Since we figured this would be our last home, we put a lot of improvements in our house. We even put a porch on our twin home so that we could see the view of DeSanctis Park. And I watched the people go over there every day walking. I see the dogs over there every day walking. And I see in the letter you're saying DeSanctis does not have that many people. Well, obviously, if they had parking, which you're saying you're going to put in when you put all these apartments up, well, that's all well and good. But you're destroying our back view, our season view. You're out putting more traffic on that road. And right about now, I've just learned that I can open the window and not listen to those cars. I worry about the children. I worry about apartments with transient people coming in, living there for a short time. Are they going to take care of their houses or the apartments? I don't know. But I'm really devastated that money's coming before us in the community who like it. I know change is inevitable, but You know, you're building where the motel was. You have Sterling Pines that has built up since we've been here. And you want to build these houses, apartments, 81 apartments in that little area of 7 acres. I don't get it. I think you're looking more at your pocketbooks than at the people who are paying your taxes right now. And I'm really upset about this. And if I move, it won't be staying in River Falls. We came here because River Falls is a unique town. It's a small town. It's a caring town. And I'm really upset about this. I mean, I've gone to so many spaghetti dinners for people that I don't even know because people here care. And we just wish that council would care enough to care about us.
Thank you, Ms. Ayers.
Is there anybody else?
So we have an online person,
Oh, there you go.
but we'll wait.
Yep.
My name is George Ayers. I live at 1583 Covey Drive. We've lived here for 15 years, and we moved in shortly after the schoolhouse was put on that property. And I've watched the city probably spent at least $100,000 on improvements to that building. It has never been open to the public. It has no running water. It has no toilet facilities. And if you look at the plans that are coming in, they want to connect Roosevelt to Dry Run. Well, that cuts the park in half. And I think that would destroy the purpose of the park. Thank you.
There's one more in person, Mr. Mayor.
Hello, my name is Julie Larson, and I live on 1617 Covey Drive, right across the road from DeSanctis Park. And my husband and I moved here from Iowa with our daughters 4 years ago. And we have family in Stillwater, but really love the community and just like Joe said, the community of River Falls and the feeling that you have. This whole town has such a special feeling and it's unique. And we do love living out in Quail, the area out there, and we really enjoy looking at the outdoors and having the park. We always have dogs and walk, but I have to be very honest. I am feeling kind of sick about having something across the road, and it has crossed our minds that of moving because it isn't the feeling of the edge of town and out there. The feeling of River Falls out there, it's going to be pretty different. A lot of concern about a lot of traffic. It's going to be quite a change and concerns. There's a lot of kids on bikes with dogs on leashes and people and older people. There's going to have to be a lot of safety brought in with that regard. But there's so many reasons that I feel really just kind of sick about it. And even to the point of thinking of just moving somewhere where you really are on the edge of town like we are now. It just truly will have a pretty big impact. And we have 2 college daughters who rent apartments. And I also know for rental purposes, I hope if this does go, I mean, I don't know as far as affordability with more apartments, just knowing being with college, in the college mode, it isn't usually a brand new apartment any college student could afford. But I don't know a lot about all the ins and outs of that, but I just have so much reservation, and I thank you for listening to me. So I hope you'll all consider everything. Thank you.
All right. Then Mayor, we have Go ahead.
I'm back. One of the things that seems to bother me and many of my friends is all this building we're doing, but we have no retail business where we can go and buy clothes, shoes. I mean, we're all this building, we're bringing more and more people in, but we have no place to go. Now, when I'm not able to drive and can't go to Hudson or can't go to Woodbury, what are the elderly, and I'm including myself in that very certainly, what are we supposed to do? I just don't understand why we keep building, bringing more people in, and all we have are bars, minimal restaurants right now, nice restaurants. And like I say, I just don't get it. What's people, the elderly people, and I don't know what these apartments are supposed to rent for, but I know when we get into the retirement age, we're back where we started when we first got married, watching our money. We're living on a limited income. And I just don't understand. I just felt that, you know, there's children involved in these apartments. They're going to have to go to school. Schools might get overcrowded. They've been working on the schools. I just feel like we're losing our small town. And it makes me sad and it makes me sick. And I think we need some outlets for us to be able to live, to get the clothing, to buy a gift for somebody. I don't know what. And we bought our house when it was top dollar, and it plummeted. Everything plummeted. And now we're finally getting back up there, and we put more work into our home than we're ever going to get out of it. And now we're going to have to pick up and move. It hurts. It hurts a lot because we worked. My husband and I never had anything given to us. We saved, we worked. And what we have, we got on our own. And I just wish that government in general would look out for the people that are living in their community, in their town. That's it. Thank you.
So if you haven't been over there in that park, it's beautiful. There's wildflowers, birds, butterflies, bees all over. Everything is blooming, it's green, it's beautiful. You say it isn't used? I had a deer in my yard last week, right across the road. Please look, go for a walk in the park. Go for a walk and see, and then make the decision.
Thank you. That's it for your in-person comments.
All right, we have Catherine Hector is online. Catherine, are you there?
I am, and I can't get my camera on. I'm not sure how to do that.
Well, now you can.
Okay. Okay.
Try it again, Catherine.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Hi. So I'm here tonight to represent the petition against the townhouse development at DeSanctis Park. We currently have 1,091 signatures that are respectfully and strongly opposing the city's decision to move forward with the units on the DeSanctis property. We feel very strongly that River Falls has a deep love and appreciation for the environment and that the DeSanctis Park is an asset to the community. I'm a resident of River Falls. I live on Maple Street. There's already 20 new buildings going up around the city, providing housing for approximately 1,000 people. And adding an additional 84 townhomes to the west end of the town will permanently change the neighborhood. It will affect the peaceful experience of the park, and it will deeply impact the environmental integrity of the area. Many residents believe this is not an appropriate development for the neighborhood. Once again, we have 1,091 signatures on this petition. We're very concerned that it will affect parking, traffic, that according to recent housing analysis, university students are the largest demographic contributing to River Falls housing needs. And as a result of COVID-19, the future physical student attendance of UWRF is in question. So there'll likely be a drop in attendance. We have very little retail that is desirable in River Falls. And as we said, the park enhances the neighborhood livability and connectivity. It increases community and property values, and it protects wildlife. There's monarch butterflies, there's deer in this park. There are many different species which need to be protected. So we respectfully ask you to please find a constructive use for this property that will protect the environment and encourage the community to use this beautiful space. Thank you.
Mayor, I think you're muted.
Do we have any, thank you for that comment. John, do we have anything else online? Anybody else?
No, it does
Okay.
not look like we have others.
Okay. So from here, we'll go on to, before we do the public hearings, first, I think what we'll do is we'll have Amy Peterson will give us our presentation on agenda items 3, 4, and 5, and we'll go from there. So Amy, if you want to do that, that would be great.
Okay, give me a couple minutes to.
Yep. Or is that okay? We do it this way?
Yep, yep.
Okay,
John,
that's fine. Take your time.
I think I need to be a presenter. Is that correct?
Just a second. And 3, 2, 1. There you go.
Yep. Let me share my content here and okay. So, John, are you seeing the presentation?
Yes, we do. I see the tiles on the side. There you go.
Okay.
Yep. Now I
Thank
see your notes, your talking notes.
You do.
Yeah.
We've caught on.
The other screen. Yep.
Okay, let me see.
Try it again.
So,
There you go.
okay.
Nice.
Good. All right, so welcome back, Plan Commission. It's good to see you again. It's been almost 6 months since we last met, and now that we're together, we have a new meeting format and new Plan Commission members. Our 2 new members include Rebecca Prendergast and Craig Hoffland. So welcome, Ms. Prendergast. We're glad to have you with us. And I would just note that Mr. Hoffland is not able to be with us this evening. So before I dive into this evening's presentation, I want to give a shout out to staff. Some of you may know that I was out of the office for half of June and July, and you should know that in my absence, staff along with city administration have done a wonderful job carrying a high summer development workload amidst our new COVID norm. Although I'm presenting this to you this evening, the work that you have before you tonight is a result of the teamwork of Brandy Howe, Carrie Schreiner, and Crystal Raleigh on our team. So we have 3 items before us this evening. I'll present them to you in one presentation, and I'll ask that you hold your questions or comments through the presentation and bring them forward for discussion under the pertinent agenda item. Myself and staff are present to assist you and answer questions as you move through the process. So the comprehensive plan amendments section will include the history of the area and how we got to where we are today. And then we'll discuss the proposed development and finally describe the proposed tax increment finance district that is necessary for the project to move forward. So in there, the comprehensive plan amendment proposal, I'm going to start with the Mann Valley Amendment area. So before you tonight is the recommended approval of a comprehensive plan and future land use map amendment. The purpose of these amendments is twofold. One is to update the comprehensive plan to align with the preferred Mann Valley conceptual land use plan prepared by MSA Professional Services in 2018. And the second is to update the comprehensive plan to align with city goals for the 7-acre parcel next to DeSanctis Park. Each of these purposes are related to the Milltown Residences project. However, these proposed amendments are also based on their own merit, and staff suggests each move forward independent of whether or not the townhome project is approved. Planning for future development west of the city was being considered and documented since at least the 1980s. At that time, it was projected that most of the undeveloped land west of the city would grow as single-family residential. That assumption carried through to the 1995 master plan, which acknowledged that Mann Valley had development potential and could accommodate single-family housing. The 2005 comprehensive plan further evaluated Mann Valley as a future development area, this time as a traditional neighborhood development, or T&D. The picture depicted here is showing the mix of uses, including low and medium density residential, public institutional, neighborhood commercial, and park, all indicative of the T&D land use category. A shift in thinking occurred around 2009 when the City Council set a corporate park development as a major city goal based on trends resulting from the recession. Corporate park development was included in the approved 2009-2011 city work plan, as you see here. After a comprehensive study of available sites in and surrounding the community, the Mann Valley area was approved as the site for a future corporate park. This followed by the city purchasing land in Mann Valley both in 2011 and 2013. These purchases brought the city's total land holdings in Mann Valley to the current day total of 325 acres. Back in 2013, Council intended to revise the master plan for this area. However, that did not come to fruition, and in 2016, the city annexed 291 acres of Mann Valley into the city. Later, planning and design for the infrastructure to serve the Mann Valley Corporate Park was included in the city's 2015-2019 capital improvement plan. In 2018, the city hired MSA Professional Services to prepare conceptual designs for the future Mann Valley land use. This was the first time for staff to consider in depth the land use feasibility and lot configuration options for the future corporate park. This preferred concept plan that you see was presented to Plan Commission and Council in a joint workshop and was informally approved in October of 2018. The preferred concept illustrates a road lot layout that reserves high and low elevations for conservancy and stormwater and provides ample flexibility to configure lots based on the needs of businesses that plan to locate in the park. The concept also allows for flexibility in land use to accommodate shifting market demand and landowner interests. As depicted here, 214 acres are planned for business park uses in the gray color you see. Other land uses include single-family residential, mixed use, and institutional. The proposed ordinance before you tonight will update figures 3.1 through 3.6 to revise the municipal boundaries, road names, and rezonings to reflect changes that have occurred since 2005. It will also create figure 3.7 as the Mann Valley preferred concept. 2 new land use categories will be created. The Mann Valley preferred concept, which you just saw. It includes a detailed description of the intention and functionality of the land use plan for Mann Valley. And the second is mixed use, which will include any combination of commercial, institutional, civic, and/or medium or high density residential uses. In addition, the high-density residential land use category would be modified from 8.1 to 12 units per gross acre to 12 plus units per gross acre. This modification brings the category in alignment with the comprehensive plan and recent developments that have occurred in the city. So let's shift next to the comprehensive plan amendment for the DeSanctis area. The current future land use designation for the 7-acre parcel south of DeSanctis Park is single-family residential, circled here in red. The land is also zoned single-family residential, and planned unit developments are permitted as a special use in this district. This area on West Division Street has a variable history. Depicted here in a 1984 preliminary plan, the area, including the current DeSanctis Park, was preliminary platted in large lot single family as the Cernhouse Second Edition. The Second Edition didn't develop, and in 1993, Peter and Susan DeSanctis, co-trustees of the Ryan DeSanctis Trust, purchased the land west of the Cernhouse First Edition. The DeSanctis has donated approximately 20 acres to the city as parkland in 1993. They retained the remaining 8.5 acres for future home sites to recoup the cost of the parkland gift. In 1995, they created 3 single-family home lots at the east end of the future development area, and the CSM was approved and the lots were developed. So as you see, this area was dedicated park. This was the 8.5 acres that were kept. And then these were the 3 lots that were divided and developed by the CSM. The trust ended up holding the remaining 7 acres of vacant land for many years. A concept plan to develop DeSanctis Park was approved by Park Board, Plan Commission, and Council in 1995. The plan was later amended to include a road through the park to serve future lots along West Division Street and provide secondary access to the development to the east off Roosevelt. Cost estimates in 2012 set a price of $750,000 for infrastructure. This proved to be cost prohibitive for single-family development on the 7 acres. The access restriction to West Division Street, steep slopes and the cost of development connecting the road through the park made the development of the 7 acres challenging. It's important to note that the 1995-2000 Park and Recreation Plan defines existing parks and recreation space into categories. The community park category is defined to provide more space and more elaborate facilities than neighborhood parks. In this plan, DeSanctis Park is listed as yet to be acquired, but is categorized as a community park. Staff contends that up to this point, DeSanctis Park has been underdeveloped and therefore utilized primarily as a neighborhood park. The benefits of the proposed project will bring DeSanctis Park closer to its community park designation. If we jump forward to 2017, the city attempted to find a solution for the DeSanctis family that would allow them to develop the land without the issue of access restrictions on West Division. Staff was working toward an agreement with the DeSanctis family wherein the city would trade approximately 5.6 acres of parkland for 5.7 acres of trust-owned land to enable development to occur more easily on the site. This option would have continued single-family development in the blue area and provided parkland in the red area. A citizen petition was circulated and residents voiced their opposition to this solution, and in the end, the land swap was dropped as a viable solution. In 2018, the city acquired the land from the DeSanctis family with the intent to sell to a developer to build at a high density to defray the costs of the needed public infrastructure. Around that time, the city entered a purchase agreement with Gerard Companies, LLC, to build 22 twin homes on the site. The project also included a new road to serve the development with a future extension to Roosevelt Street planned, realignment of Dry Run Road, and parking and water and sewer extensions to serve the park and Glover School building. The general development plan was approved by Plan Commission in September of 2018, but the developer decided to forego the project. Since 2018, several local developers were asked for their interest in developing the site. all passed on the site, noting the city's infrastructure requirements and the steep grade on the site. Based on where we've been, staff recommends the future land use designation be changed from single-family residential to high-density residential. In addition, a text amendment is proposed to revise the description of the high-density residential future land use classification so that it is not capped at 12 units per acre. There are several recent developments that have occurred in the city that are classified at higher density, greater than 12 units per acre. Thus, this amendment brings those projects into conformance with the comprehensive plan as well. Shifting gears once again, let's look at the details of Milltown Residence specific implementation plan. So in an attempt to find another developer to take on the challenge, the city issued an RFP in December 2019 to solicit design proposals for high-density housing. The request for proposals laid out these primary site goals. It also recognized these site challenges. To achieve the goals above, staff recognized that higher density development would be needed to overcome the site challenges, justify the infrastructure costs that are necessary to serve the site, and provide the funding mechanism to pay for public infrastructure to serve the park. The city received 6 proposals with a variety of densities and housing types. 360 Real Estate Solutions, LLC proposed to build, own, and operate 4 21-unit townhome-style apartment buildings, and they were selected to move forward with the project. The project will be built in 2 phases, with phase 1 consisting of the 3 buildings to the east, beginning in September 2020, if approved. The development site will be accessed via a new public road in DeSanctis Park. Parking and a turnaround will be constructed to serve the park for use by the general public. The site has been designed with a realignment of dry run road, which will eliminate traffic issues created by misaligned intersections. And the land to the west of the realigned road will be retained by the city for future development. Each building will include a mix of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom townhomes with 21 units per building. Each building will have 22 attached garage spaces and 27 surface parking spaces for a total of 196 residential parking stalls. The buildings will be set back 67 to 87 feet from the property line in a staggered configuration. And the units feature walk-up porches facing West Division, and the garages are designed with rooftop patios facing DeSanctis Park to create outside spaces for the residents. Building materials include textured fiberglass roof shingles, gray lap siding, brick veneer, and white accent features. The project benefits are numerous. We've talked about the improvements to the park that you see here. In addition, the housing helps to meet the city's housing needs, and the city retains the new lot to the west for future development. To touch on the housing for just a moment, a comprehensive housing needs analysis was prepared and adopted by City Council in early 2018. The report shows that River Falls is short on most housing types, whether for sale or rent. The housing market is tight in the city and continues to be today. The study identifies target units required in future years, and staff is tracking incoming developments against these targets. The 4 housing market segments identified in the study include single family for sale, multifamily for sale, multifamily for rent, and senior housing. These segments are then broken down further into subcategories based primarily on price point. The table you see shows the estimated study targets and units that have been built in recent years. This development will fall into the shallow subsidy multifamily residential category based on the developer's target rental rates. That's this column right here. These 84 units will add to the 20 units brought in 2020 for a total of 104 units in this category that is projected to need a minimum of 205 units by 2030. Just a reminder of the process for this project thus far. Plan Commission did not meet in June due to the pandemic. The staff requested comments from the Plan Commission members as they prepared the staff report for council. A public hearing was held at City Council on June 9th, and they approved the general development plan for this project. Approval of the GDP establishes the basic right for use of the area, but is conditional upon conformity of the specific implementation plan. Before you is a recommendation from staff to forward a positive recommendation on the specific implementation plan to City Council. Let's talk about Tax Increment Finance District number 16. As many of you know, tax increment financing is the economic development tool in Wisconsin. It is what will fund the necessary incentives and infrastructure to develop this site by capturing the tax revenue and utilizing it to promote development. The proposal is to create a mixed-use district to promote housing and other development. This will expand housing options in the city and allows the city to promote business park development in Mann Valley. Mixed-use districts require that not less than 50% by area of the real property within the district be suitable for mixed use. They also have a maximum of 20-year life, and here you can see the draft of the boundary in red. Projects need to be included in the plan, but will be approved individually by the City Council. They include a variety of utility and public infrastructures, development incentives, property acquisition, DeSanctis Park improvements, Division Street reconstruction and sidewalks, and planning and engineering services for Mann Valley. Construction of the housing development will occur in 2020 and 2021. It is estimated that 10.8 million in new tax increment will be online by 2022. We have conservatively estimated added value over the life of the TID at $13.8 million. And the total tax increment revenue is projected to be approximately 4.8 million through the life of the TID. Staff recommends approval of the resolution in your packet recommending creation of the proposed TID district to council and approving, adopting, and recommending the project plan to council. So just a couple wrap-up notes here. We have received comments on the development and have forwarded those to you as we received them. You've received some tonight as well. We do have August 25th slated as this item, these three items, plus the development agreement and the sale of the property coming to City Council on August 25th. September of this year, the JRB would convene to vote on the creation of TID 16 if this goes forward. So as mentioned through the proposal, there's three items before you tonight. There's resolutions in your packet for each of them, and staff recommends approval of those three resolutions. With that, I will go ahead and turn it back to you, Mayor.
Thanks, Amy. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's go on to first thing we'll do is we'll close the Planning Commission meeting. We'll open up a public hearing on agenda item number 3, which is a consideration of a resolution designating proposed boundaries and approving a project plan for tax incremental district number 16. Is there anybody in the audience has anything like to say about this item? Jason, you'll have to let me know if there's anybody that has anything on this.
This is John. I think there'll be a public comment request for the Milltown Residences further down. I did get a note on that earlier. So,
well, we're done with Milltown. This is for the Milltown. The Milltown is not a public hearing. So,
okay.
What we have now is agenda item number 3. Just wondering if there's anybody there, Jason, that you know that wants to talk about this? No? Okay, I will close the public hearing and reopen up the council hearing. And first thing I'll do is take a motion on this one.
Mr. Mayor, this is Mr. Watson. I move the approval of item number 3, consideration of resolution designating proposed boundaries and approving a project plan for tax incremental district number 16.
I'll second that. This is Hinsman.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Okay, now we got first and second. Does anybody on the board have any questions or comments on this? Okay, we have no questions or comments. Okay, Brandy, we have first and a second on agenda item number 3, the consideration of a resolution designating proposed boundaries and approving a project plan for tax incremental district number 16. Can you please take a roll call on that?
Can you hear me, Mayor?
Yep.
Okay. Moody? Moody?
Oh.
What's happening?
Aye.
There you go.
Okay. LaRue?
Oh, somebody's got bad feedback.
Okay, I heard an aye for Moody. I did not hear anything for LaRue. Still did.
Can't hear Patricia.
That was a yes? Okay. Watson? Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Hinsman?
Yes.
Prendergast?
Go ahead, Rebecca.
Try again. You're muted, Rebecca.
Yes. And
there you go.
Does the mayor vote on this?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we will again close the planning commission meeting, open up a public hearing on ordinance or on the agenda number 4, which is a consideration of a resolution to amend the comprehensive plan for the comprehensive plan for the future land use map. Wow. So I'll take is there anybody in the audience has anything like to say about this?
Would anybody like to speak on this item? No comments.
Okay, so we'll close the public hearing and reopen up the board hearing on this, and I will entertain a motion from the board.
Mr. Mayor, move for item number 4, consideration of a resolution to amend the comprehensive plan future land use map.
Thank you.
I would second that.
Okay,
Hinsman.
thank you, Craig. So we have a first and a second. Does anybody on the board have any comments or questions on this?
This is Patricia.
Yep.
Seems to me like we might need to do some more studying on this with the public input. The amendment to the comprehensive plan future land use map, there may be better ideas on how to develop the land. For an example, I don't know if the staff ever looked at the DeSanctis, the Milltown development as possibly a neighborhood commercial area where, for the people in the audience, the neighborhood commercial would mean small business, daycare, I've got a feedback here, I'm sorry. Professional buildings, that kind of thing on the park, which would be closed by 8 or 9 o'clock, and then the people would have the quiet in the park. I don't know. I do know it went to a workshop and that the city council has looked at it, but there's enough concern that I think maybe we need more public input before we start deciding the future land use map and amending the comprehensive plan. And I'm putting myself on mute now.
Mayor, you're muted.
Oh,
Or we couldn't hear you there.
I'm sorry. Does anybody else have any questions or comments?
Yes, Mr.
Yep.
Mayor, I do.
Go ahead, Hal.
So just a couple of things. First of all, Amy, with reference to, or in reference to the future land use changes in the Mann Valley Corporate Park area, that the land that the city owns, you mentioned that there's 214 acres of business, but there is also conservancy as an inclusion in that, and that land, if I remember right, I'm not looking at the map, but most of that land was originally had a future land use as R1 single family. And I just want to get a sense of the increase in new conservancy / parkland versus the amount of development that would have happened. So and confirm my understanding that as a part of this zoning or future, or the change in the future land use, excuse me, we're actually from what I can see on the maps that I've looked at so far that you've provided, we're increasing fairly dramatically the amount of park and conservancy in this area overall. Is that your assessment as well, or am I wrong?
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, and I don't have the exact acreage in front of me for the proposed conservancy area within the Mann Valley Preferred Concept, but it does include the majority of the northeast section where you've got the high hill right there. All of that is included in conservancy, and much of the middle portion where we've got some lower elevations and some floodplain, and where the storm water needs to flow through the future corporate site.
Okay.
So yes, I would say there is more conservancy planned than was in the past when it was clearly single family.
And as I looked at the current future land use map, the area on top of the bluff, there's a flat area on top of the bluff in the northeast part of that plan is now all slated for conservancy as well. And I think the point I'm making here, I think to the rest of the board, is that there is an unused 7.5 or so acres of land here that is not currently part of the park, but that is owned by the city. And as part of this action that we're proposing tonight, we are proposing to change that future land use to this residential, high density residential, but at the same time, we're dramatically increasing the amount of public parkland and conservancy that will be available for access by River Falls representatives or citizens, but also as habitat for animals and plants and everything else that needs that. So that was my first point. My second question, and you may have touched on this, Amy, but if you could just refresh my memory. Did the city reach out to developers after the Girard project in 2018 fell through? That was the proposal originally for the 24 townhomes. Did the city reach out to local developers asking them if it would be possible to create single family home lots on this 7.5 acres?
That's correct. We had reached out to, I think, 2 or 3 local developers to see if they were interested in purchasing and developing the site. And all of them passed on it, seeing some challenges with the site, including the steep slope that passes over the site, no access to Division Street. And it's an odd shaped site for development, right? So we did reach out and did not get any takers.
Thank you. So to my mind, we have done our due diligence as a city by trying to figure out whether we could do single family homes on this lot. And the answer to that is that, it's not economically feasible. Nobody wants to do it. It's sat in its current state for quite some time. And so it doesn't make sense to leave this in the future land use map as single family residential when we know that will never happen. So I think that's really my second point regarding the future land use map. That's all I have right now, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Does any other board members have anything on this one? Any other questions or comments?
I just want to ask, okay, so no to the single family. And then there's this difference between being maybe 13 houses on there versus 88 houses. Was there an in between? Again, did we even look at a neighborhood commercial district there? Or I know Girard's backed out, but in talking to that group when they were there on another thing, they just said that they were taxed out, that they had taken on a bunch, and this is just something that they were going to do the one by the city hall and the other one, and they just didn't want to take this. Not like this was not doable. It's just they didn't want to take it on. But have we looked at something more like a medium? I'll get into this when we get into the actual townhouses, but to be selling this as a empty nester young professional, it doesn't seem like it's going to fit that market. Empty nesters don't want 3-story apartments. But have we looked at other things other than on one hand 15 houses and on another hand 88 unit apartments?
Mayor, would you like me to respond? So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're looking for a neighborhood commercial, and the RFP that staff ultimately released was for housing. And we did receive proposals that had a mix of and a variety of styles and densities. After reviewing all of those proposals, this project was chosen. I'll let the developers speak a little bit to your concerns regarding their target markets. I will note, though, that the 1 and 3 bedroom units are 0 entry first level units, and the 2 bedroom units are the up and down townhome style units. So I believe that plays into their target markets. And like I said, they are on the line, and I'll let them speak a little bit more to that in the next section.
Okay.
Me? Anything else for the board on this one? Okay. So Brandy, I have a first and a second on agenda item number 4, the consideration of a resolution to amend the comprehensive plan future land use map. If you could do a roll call.
Am I unmuted?
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Sorry, Brandy.
I can never tell if it is or not. Moody,
So you're muted.
Yep.
yes, okay. LaRue,
No.
Watson, Hinsman,
I think Craig might be having some problems. He looks like he's buffering there.
okay, I will move ahead to Prendergast.
Aye.
Move back to Hinsman.
Jason, John, do we still have, is Craig still there? Doesn't look like it.
No, due to low bandwidth, his video isn't available, but he may have audio.
Okay.
You can try it again. No, it keeps dying out.
Can you call him real quick?
I don't
Do
have
it.
his number.
Oh, we can do it over the phone with him.
Brandy, I'm sorry, what Amy have his.
Amy, would we have his
Try to
number?
come back in. Oh, what's this?
I can try to find his number.
Okay, sorry about this, everybody.
John, tell him to unmute himself.
Craig, if you can hear us, try unmuting yourself.
I think he disappeared.
No, I don't see him anymore.
I have his number, I think.
Patient.
Brandy, do you by chance have his number?
Yeah, I'm calling him.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, Craig, it's Brandy.
Hi, Brandy. Sorry. I don't know what happened. I'm trying to get back on, but my vote is yes.
You're a yes vote? Okay, I will put you down and then we will try to get you back on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Craig is a yes, Mayor?
So should we give it a couple minutes? Is that the board okay with trying to give it a couple minutes for Craig to get back on, or would you like to move on?
I'm fine with waiting.
Yeah, I think we can wait a couple minutes. John, see if you can reconnect with them.
Do you want to carry on with the vote, Mayor?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
I was able to get him on the phone.
Okay, go ahead.
He was an aye. So you are last.
Aye.
Aye, got it. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, Craig is back. Good job, Craig. Here we are.
Craig, if you keep your video turned off, it may help with your bandwidth issue.
Yep.
All right, good job, Team Hinsman.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. You there, Craig, then?
Yes, I am, Mayor.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to the next item on the agenda is, and I will take a motion on the consideration of a resolution to approve a specific implementation plan for Milltown Residents, formerly known as DeSanctis Townhomes.
Mayor, I would make a resolution to approve the specific implementation plan for the Milltown Residences.
Okay, I got a first. Do I get a second?
Second.
Okay, got a first and a second. Questions or comments from the board?
As we sit here
Yep.
today,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Nope, that's fine. We can
Okay.
hear you now.
Okay. As we sit here today, it's zoned for low residential, right? Like right now. So shouldn't we rezone it before we start sending plans forward for it to be high density? Because it's not zoned for that right now.
Amy?
So the underlying zoning does not matter as much when you're doing the planned unit development, because that planned unit development overlays that zoning and allows that density or whatever the issue is to hold. So the property does not need to be rezoned. What we were doing in the last item was changing the future land use map so that it's consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Right. But wouldn't you want to rezone it first? I mean, you maybe don't have to, but wouldn't it be smart to do that first? Or it would be.
Go ahead, Amy.
The property does not need to be rezoned if you are doing a planned unit development.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions.
Yep. Go ahead, Hal.
Amy, can you speak to the park improvements that will be made as a result of this project?
Yeah, so I briefly had put those before you, and we've talked about them as we talked about the history. The primary ones to the park was to include a public parking lot for DeSanctis Park. So as I mentioned in the presentation, DeSanctis Park, since its inception, was set to be a community or a regional park. The city has struggled to get the infrastructure and amenities at that park, right? So a public parking lot has never been there. So for folks on the east side of River Falls that want to visit DeSanctis Park, I ride my bike there, but if someone wants to drive and park at the park and walk the trails, right now it's very limited. There are some folks that park on Dry Run Road. So this would provide a parking lot within the park to provide better access for all of the residents of River Falls. Glover School has also sat on that property since I think about 2000 and hasn't been able to be utilized because it does not have water and sewer connections. So providing water and sewer to that schoolhouse the city will be able to utilize it much as it does some of the other shelters in our parks, and people can then use it for public space, whether they want to have a graduation party there or whatever. So it will make that schoolhouse usable. So there's going to be some path improvements within the park and additional park and street landscaping around the area. Just outside of the park, the realignment of Dry Run Road will also occur again to help that intersection off of West Division there. And there's going to be some sidewalk connections down into the park and the new development as well.
I'm particularly interested in the sewer and water making their way to the old Glover School. I was on the Plan Commission back in 2000 when we bought that schoolhouse from, or didn't even buy it, bought it for $1 from Troy Township and moved it onto this DeSanctis site. And it has been many, many years of incremental, slow work to get that school rehabbed and back up into shape. And this is the last piece of that puzzle. I just mentioned this for the benefit of the other Plan Commission members who may be new, to making that facility truly useful to the rest of this to the community as a whole. And so to me, that's a very important part. That is an important part of this particular project. I wanted to ask about the native plant concept and the landscaping along the front of the building facing Division Street. And I'm wondering if the developer could speak to that landscaping plan and kind of the concept behind it.
John, are you able to provide access?
We have Marvin and Will on.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear us?
We're getting some real bad echo.
Can you hear us now?
Yep.
Hello? Hello?
Marvin, we can hear you.
I'm just gonna have to close this, I think. Can you just call it quick? Yeah. Just shooting an email that we're calling in again.
I have both Marvin and Will as panelists, and they're unmuted.
Marvin, can you hear us?
Welcome to WebEx. Enter your access code. Enter your attendee ID number.
I'm going to need them to mute something in order for this to work, because we're going to get feedback as soon as they get on that line.
Are they gone now, John?
Well, essentially, yes. I see Will still in as a panelist, but there's no activity or anything.
Will, are you there? Can you hear us?
And then, oh, Marvin's up. I see him. Here he comes. All right. Marvin, are you there?
Yeah, for whatever reason, it's not working. Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to WebEx. Enter your access code or meeting number.
I don't know if that's going to work.
Thank you.
Amy, can you speak to that?
There's a lot of feedback when we unmute them.
Yeah. Amy, can you speak to the vegetation and their plan for the basically edible vegetation?
I can. I'm just going to try for a moment to see if I can get them on phone. If I get them on speakerphone, you might be able to hear them.
Perfect.
Hey, Marvin, it's Amy. I'm going to try to put you on speakerphone and see if the commission can hear you. So do you want to hang on for a second? Okay. Are you there, Marvin?
Yes, we're here.
Okay, I'm going to turn the volume up. Can you say it again?
Yes, we're here.
So Mayor, can you hear them?
Yes, we can.
Okay, Marvin, so I think the question was if you could talk about the plantings between the building and division?
Yeah, so our general thought process on this, and we've done this on several projects, is to use native landscaping. So you will find when you see the developments that we do, and we started doing this about 7 to 10 years ago, and it was from an environmental standpoint. All of the plantings that we do on a project are native to the region. Additionally, those plantings are designed with the food base in mind. So, for example, you may come up with a project that uses dogwoods on the project. In replacement of that, we would use raspberry bushes. So we think of this from the context of sources not only for humans but for birds and wildlife. And then the prairie in front, we'll literally create a pollinator prairie there. We did this as a company on a site over the past 2 years where we did a 54-acre pollinator prairie on a project that we managed. So we're familiar with doing that. We understand the environmental impacts. And as we're looking at these projects, that environmental impact is very important. So whether it's planning, the stormwater pieces, the food sources we're creating, the density is also building construction itself, and the density of building construction makes an impact on the environment. So the more density you have, the less environmental impact you have. In conjunction with that, the other piece of that is the quality of construction. So as you're looking, construction itself uses a lot of resources. Like using high quality construction, you lessen the overall picture environmental impact. So I think hopefully that answers kind of the key question there.
I have one more question and then I'll let go here. Can you speak to and this is for the developer again, the target market for this set of buildings? As I understand it, it is young professional and empty nester. Can you talk to your market research, about why and how you think that this type of project is going to be successful with with that demographic, those two demographics?
Yeah, there's a couple different reasons. And so this project, I actually personally came up with the design of this project and then had an architect design it. And the reason I came up with the design on this project was we built this exact same project in the neighborhood that I live in La Crosse. So it's a historic neighborhood. In that neighborhood, it's got a very strong neighborhood association. And we partnered with the neighborhood association to actually, once we had the initial design of the project, to do the actual building. And so in this, and the reason for the empty nesters and the young professionals, and this goes to the design of the building. So the first floor is all one level, right? So it's accessible spaces. And like our neighborhood, you're going to have people in your community that they no longer have kids at home, and they are looking to downsize, but the product may not be available with attached garages, all one level. This is an opportunity for that. At the same time, on top of the first floor are the stacked two-floor townhomes, the two-bedroom townhomes, which work extremely well for young professionals. And so what you get in an end product is complementary uses to an existing neighborhood. And what I mean by that is you're going to have young professionals come into town, don't mind living on the upper floors. They want an outdoor space, which is a healthy component of the development. Those same young professionals are going to be looking to buy homes in that first neighborhood that they come into within a community, which is good for that neighborhood. At the same time, empty nesters that are in that neighborhood and you know, we heard very passionately people that live in this neighborhood that care deeply about this neighborhood at some point may not be able to use stairs in their home. Now they don't have to leave the neighborhood. So the first floor of this building will have in-floor heat, which is critical, especially if you're looking at empty nesters that maybe have a desire to live in this. And so those are kind of the markets that we see, and that is kind of a missing component in a lot of communities. I don't think River Falls is unique in that piece. We've now done this exact building 4 different times, and every single time we've had those results that came out from the end users of the building.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Okay, anybody else on the board have any questions now?
Oh, yeah, I have a follow-up because that was actually my main concern with this. How many single level 2-bedroom do you have for the empty nesters when the full floor buildings are created? That's for the developer.
Yeah, so the total, all the 1 bedrooms are at the first level, and then we have 3 bedrooms on the first level.
And how many separate apartments in all?
There's a total of 84 units.
Okay, but I'm looking, if we're trying to help the city take care of its empty nesters, which when we had our individual talks, I can see someone, I'm 64, and I can see someone selling their house, investing that money in the stock market, and just going to an apartment and not having the problems of a home. So I can see where that's valuable. But what I'm asking is, we have this number, this marker that we're trying to get for empty nesters because it's going to be a very much a growing population. So how many of those particular apartments are you looking at to fulfill the empty nester marker that we're trying to reach here? Is it 10 or is it 30?
20, it would be 26 first floor units with 0.
Okay, good. Then another question is there going to be any masonry? Is this just going to be siding and trim, or are we going to have some brick and some stone and a sharp looking building?
You will have a sharp looking building. This will be the exact same skin that we built on the building that's in my neighborhood. And that skin is brick, right? So we use a combination of brick and hardy siding. So we don't use any vinyl siding. You'll see all of our deck railings on this building. You know, you can use vinyl siding deck railings, or vinyl deck railings, excuse me. We actually manufacture with a manufacturing company the actual deck railings, so they're actually made of metal. And then we'll use brick pavers actually on top of the garage roofs. So the quality of material that you will see in this will have longevity to it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else on the board? Questions, comments?
I have a concern about the traffic in this area. It shows the traffic with this subdivision, and so the city reviewed the traffic counts, and there is no need for a traffic signal. But can you speak to any other traffic control tactics that might be used in this area? I'm not sure what the speed limit is in this area, but I'm concerned about the traffic and traffic in this area with that many homes.
Sure. So our city engineer did take a look at the anticipated traffic counts and hasn't seen a concern there. I know we have heard from residents about speed in that area. So as you come into the city, I think folks have tendency to come a little quick. And then it does drop down to 25 miles an hour. I think it's just to the east or about at the east end of DeSanctis Park. I think recently our police department did put one of the traffic speed stations out there. So at this time, from the city standpoint, we don't have concerns about how that area is going to function. Again, if there were issues that would come up in the future, those would be something that we would address. But right now, taking a look at the projections, it just doesn't seem like there's going to be challenges.
Okay, thank you.
Crystal is on the phone if you've got more questions regarding.
I just am concerned about the amount of traffic, but it seems that if you could do any pre-planning for any anticipated traffic, I mean, I know that's hard to predict the future, but I just wanted to share my concerns about that. And then another question about the phasing for the project. So there's 4 buildings in 2 phases. So phase 1 includes the public infrastructure and the first 3 buildings. So how many units are in those first 3 buildings? And would they be available like immediately for people to rent while the second phase is being built then?
Marvin, are you able to speak exactly to the timeline? So I understand the first 3 are going to come on, but will they be available for rent as you start the 4th building?
They will be, and there will be 63 units in that total first phase.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Anybody other board members have anything? Yes, no, everybody good? Okay, so Brandy, we have a first and a second on the agenda item number 5 for the consideration of a resolution to approve a specific implementation plan for the Milltown residents. If you will do a roll call, please.
Moody?
Not even hear the motion, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, it's a motion to approve the SIP, the specific implementation plan for the Milltown residents.
No.
LaRue?
No, and I just want to say, I think we have enough people that are pushing back, and I'm not hearing any positive from the community. So I would like us to look into this more, maybe try some other choices, but as it is right now and zoned right now, I have to say no.
Watson?
Yes, aye.
Hinsman,
Yes. Aye.
Prendergast,
I would say no.
and the mayor.
Yes.
So that's a tie. What do we do then?
So Amy, we got a tie. Let's just send it to the council with a tie vote.
Well, so I'll have to look into this. My guess is that that's 3 no, 2 yes, and
No, it's 3-3.
Jason's gonna call Scott Simpson.
Okay. So it's 3-3 right now.
We'll see what the city administrator says.
I mean, my guess is the staff report can put the resolution forward with the plan commission, just stating that it was a 3-3 vote.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Okay. We will move forward in that way.
Okay.
So Brandy, are we waiting for Scott, or would we like the mayor to move on?
No, you should send it forward with the results of the vote.
Okay. Okay. So on to Amy, we'll do the director's report.
Okay, so this report covers April through a portion of July. We tried to incorporate everything that staff was doing while we were on the plan commission hiatus. Craig, I'm not sure if you're able to mute. We've got quite a bit of feedback. And Lisa as well, maybe. I don't have a ton from this director's report to highlight, but I would stand for any questions that plan commissioners may have. Hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at it.
Do you have any questions for Amy?
Can't.
Nope, I guess not. Okay, thanks, Amy.
Welcome.
So I will entertain a motion for adjourning.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, Brandy, we have a first and a second to adjourn.
Moody,
Aye.
LaRue,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Hinsman,
Aye.
Prendergast,
Aye.
and mayor.
Yes, yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Thanks everybody on staff for doing this. John, I appreciate it. Amy, Brandy, thank you. Jason, thank you.